Hi everyone, and welcome back to the International Day for People with Disability 2018 APFA Powerchair Football Championships. I'm Chris Suffield, and alongside me is once again New South Wales captain Dimitri Leolio-Davis.
Hey everyone, back again.
We've got another exciting encounter for you here between the Queensland Cyclones and Western Australia. Who do you think is going to come out on top of this one, Dimitri?
Queensland's been looking really strong all tournament, still undefeated, and I'm sure they'll think that they can keep it going, and yeah, so do I. I think they can keep it going too.
Western Australia had a strong start to today, beating the Queensland Barbarians by 2-0, I think. And Jessie McCarthy and Rebecca Evans were two of the more dominant players in that game, along with Dylan Needham providing very strong support from the back. Whereas with Queensland, I think Josh Merkis has really controlled proceedings.
Yeah, absolutely. Dylan made some great runs from out back, get them out of trouble in that first game, but everything seems to be going through Jessie on his set pieces and Rebecca with the really good open field play.
Jessie, of course, a Queenslander, so he'll be sure to put in a good show against his home state.
Absolutely. I think he's fired up for this one, and also I'm pretty sure this is the two loudest crowd supporting fan bases that we have here. I know the Kiwis get quite loud, but WA and Queensland with a lot of support here.
They certainly were very loud this morning. So, looking out on the field, our starting lineups are Queensland. In goals, Tom Latcham. And in the outfield, Josh Merkis, Bryce Castles and Tristram Peters. While for Western Australia, we have in goals, Dylan Needham. And in the outfield, Jessie McCarthy, Rebecca Evans and Judy Newman. And here we go. So, Evans to McCarthy. Nice little touch around Castles. And now it's McCarthy and Merkis. Gets out to Newman, back out to the wing, and unfortunately Jessie just left his position there. So Merkis on the sideline. McCarthy gets in there to nick it away from Peters, but Merkis gets around him at the back. So now it's Merkis and Evans in the middle. Josh Merkis pushing around nicely. And now he's taking on Needham in goals. Beautiful pass there from Merkis, gets it out to Castles, but Needham gets in there in the way. Peters out to Merkis, nice shot, but well saved by McCarthy there for the corner.
Strong start by both teams. WA really getting right into it. A couple of lucky deflections, a couple of well-read deflections, and they had a bit of pressure, but here's Queensland now with the corner.
This has really been one of their strengths for this tournament. Their set-piece play is very precise and very powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. Queensland love this. As we saw the last time they played, Tristram likes to set up front on here, make that run at the near post, try and go for the goal. I think Josh was trying to sneak that one in at the near post himself, but look for Tristram here to make that run and try and hit that gap right between the box defender and the goalkeeper.
So Queensland generating a little bit of pressure with a repeat opportunity from the corner. Merkis this time goes a bit deeper to Peters, but he just can't direct it on target, and Castles can't quite get the little touch at the end there either. So WA sideline here. Evans to McCarthy. Gets it out to Merkis, who punches it back up the field to Castles. To Peters. Back to Castles. And back to Castles again from Peters. And
goal.
Bryce Castles with a nice little touch there to just keep it inside the post.
Queensland love doing that. Long, firm passes. Keep the defence moving, turning them left, turning them right. Back and forward, you really can't keep up with the ball.
As you can see, Dylan Needham spinning like a top there to try and keep an eye on that ball.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he did about 3 spins in the box there, but great play by Queensland, 1-0.
McCarthy trying to go long from the kickoff, but Merkis reads it perfectly, and now it's Merkis on Evans again. Pushes her wide. Bryce Castles nicely supporting at the back. Merkis wins the sideline. He's very good at that. He reads the pass or the shot nicely and then pushes it up the court against anyone, Josh Merkis.
Yeah, absolutely. He's absolutely thriving in those one-on-one battles. Really good at reading the play.
Peters out wide. Almost a little motion play there by Queensland, but it didn't quite work that time. Merkis in the middle. Needham looked to close him down, but didn't quite get to the ball. Nice pass from Merkis, but Peters just quite can't get his guard on the end of that one. These are always dangerous positions down here, Dimitri.
Yeah, absolutely. Even in our last game, we made a little mistake here. It's hard to know what happens after the kick taker takes it. Do they go in the box? Do they go downfield? And we got a 3 in the box earlier, so always tricky to try and get out of your own area.
WA have really tried to play that soft little pass from those kind of throw-in situations, trying to stop the defenders from getting a chance to reach the ball. Merkus manages to draw Needham out of the goals, and it's Evans alone in the box against Merkus. Castles gets in there, and Peters does very well to finish off Bryce Castles and Josh Merkus's hard work.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only place he could have put the ball to score. I thought that Evans was going to get across there and maybe stop it. She was training the ball, but just couldn't catch up at the last second, and Tristram put it in at that far post, just couldn't get there. Great finish, 2-0 Queensland.
McCarthy looked like he wanted to get in the box there, but without that goalkeeper bib, if he was in there with Evans, it would have been a 2-on-1. So, unfortunate that he couldn't get in there, but still smart play. Newman tries to get around Peters after the kickoff, but Merkus once again controlling it at the back. Big spin, can't quite get it past Newman, but it ends up with Peters, flicks it on. Needham having to do some defensive work again. Peters smartly trying to draw him out of the box, which he has. Patient play here from both players. Peters trying to look for that flick back to Merkus, but Needham really trying to block it, and Peters does get the flick eventually. Not much power on it though, and McCarthy is able to get in the way and push the ball up court.
Unlucky for Newman there, spun the wrong way. Maybe if he did a reverse spin the other way, he could have sent that down on target and really gotten them out of pressure, but back under pressure again.
It's quite tough in those situations as well, with so many chairs moving around. Sometimes you're not sure if someone's close to you, and you really don't want to give away those contact fouls.
Yeah, exactly, and it's a split-second decision. You think it's going to go one way, a tiny deflection can take it the other way. Might look like it's going slow sometimes on screen, but out there you've got milliseconds to make that decision of what way to spin.
Merkus taking on McCarthy, who tries to flick it back to the defence, and Peters was there. But now WA have got possession back. Castle's on Newman, taking him down the sideline. Goes for the reverse spin there, Bryce Castles. Newman trying to keep the ball in, trying to stay out of the box. Merkus is right on top of him. Takes him around the side. Queensland, nice rotation there in attack. Peters, back to Merkus. Takes a shot near the post. Needham pushes the ball wide. Merkus, very patient. Traps the ball on the sideline. Lines it up, hits it off the defenders, and then it goes back into him. So nicely defended there by WA.
Unlucky there. WA weren't going to break. They weren't going to let anything through there. Josh trying to win a corner, but unluckily bounces back off him. Goal kick WA.
Was really nice skill there from Merkus in the corner, stopping the ball to give himself time to wind up on it, knowing the defenders wouldn't jump out at him.
Yeah, absolutely. Gave himself all the time in the world. Almost made it like a set piece, stopping the ball like that.
Short little pass there from Needham to McCarthy. Almost gets pushed in the box there. Referee lets play go. Now McCarthy and Newman getting in each other's way. McCarthy on Merkus. Merkus looking to push, but then takes that centre position. Tries to nick it out to Peters there. Peters does eventually get it, but McCarthy's right on top of him. But a nice little turn there from Tristram Peters. Looking to cut it back to Merkus, but Needham's in the way. Josh Merkus taking his time. Tries to put a pass between Needham and McCarthy at the top of the box there, but just not quite any room, but still Josh Merkus on Dylan Needham. Merkus knocks it off for Western Australia, and it's another Queensland throw.
Rebecca trying to tell the linesman that the goalpost is off the line here, but they're saying it's okay.
Castles moves through the box there to the far side. Queensland looking to set up a nice little set play here. Merkus looks to go behind the defence. Just doesn't quite have the angle, but he set this up nicely for a follow-up throw-in.
Yeah, Tristram excellent at blocking here. Always first to his spot. He's got Needham pretty sealed here, so get that ball through the window and it should be a pretty straight. Oh, unlucky.
Nice little swing away there from Peters to open up the gap for Castles, but the shot just a little bit wide there.
Yeah, he went for that one back across goal because as the defence flows to that far post, it opens up the near post back where the ball came from. Unlucky, just couldn't get it on target.
WA with that short one again. Castles gets in the way there. Just a little bit of contact from Castles, but Still really nice pressure there, trying to push McCarthy back into the box again.
Yeah, these short ones don't seem to be working for WA. They need just a little bit more on them, I think, just to get them out of trouble.
Peters manages to jump there for that pass. Sorry to cut you off, Dimitri.
All good.
And Needham out on the wing. Dangerous position here. Has to chase the ball, Dylan Needham, and he does that very nicely. Now it's Needham on Merkus. Josh Merkus controlling the play here now. He's so good at getting things back on his terms in these one-on-one situations. Pushes it down to the wing. Castles has to clear out, which he does very quickly. Still, Needham and Merkus. Neither player wanting to give an inch here.
There's two players that are non.
Goalkeepers in the box, which is a bit of a risky situation. And that looks like just a lack of communication there from Western Australia. They got badly caught out there by Merkus.
Yeah, big mix up here. As you can see, there's two field players in the box, which is allowed, but they can't be within 3 metres of each other. Once they've realised that the goalkeeper's going in, Rebecca's moved out, but so has Jesse. He should have really stayed there, and they've left an open net for an easy dribble in by Josh.
And the keeper didn't quite realise that no one else was in the box, so he stopped to try and avoid the 3 in the box as well. And Queensland are just far too good. They take advantage of all of those little opportunities. And now Peters down the wing, puts it across to Merkus. Merkus taking it wide against Needham. And Needham, nice little turn there, but Merkus is still there. Needham plays it back to Evans. Merkus still. Nice little call there from Castles, trying to tell Merkus where he is. Ball goes back to the middle, and Merkus gets it again. He's everywhere, Josh Merkus. Castles letting Needham have the ball for a second there. And Bryce Castles trying to force the ball over there, but well defended by Needham and Evans. Peters coming in, puts a pass out to Castles, puts the shot into Evans. Peters does well to recover the ball there, but just can't control it. An unfortunate little miss there, but WA with possession.
Great defence there by Evans. She was really isolated, but did well to stop the ball and get it moving out from her own goal line, and a little bit of pressure release here for WA.
Quick substitution there from Queensland. Bryce Castles off and Jack Gillespie on. Long ball out to Peters. Newman tries to put it back down the floor, but it's just bounced up off his guard, and we'll have a set ball. Set balls are often a good opportunity for the stronger players on your team.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just basically a restart of play. They went in a bit hard there.
Both players not wanting to give that one up.
Yeah. Either one not wanting to give up an inch, but no one complained, so referees let it play on, even though that was slight rough contact.
And McCarthy and Gillespie, I believe, play on different teams in the Queensland League, so I'm sure they've come up against each other multiple times.
Yeah, absolutely.
McCarthy almost looked like he was in the box there, but they've gotten away with it, although Queensland in dangerous position once again.
Tough angle here for Queensland.
It's felt like the ball's been down here for the last 10 minutes, hasn't it, Dimitri?
Yeah, absolutely. WA not getting much purchase on the field position this game, but defending well. And
Evans blocked that ball nicely there, but Merkus won't mind. He'll be more than happy to take another sideline here.
Tristram looking to move out of the way. Couldn't get out of the way quick enough.
Nice effort there by Queensland, but WA with a chance to try and get it out of their end again. And Newman just can't quite keep it off away from the sideline. Merkus doing very well again. Now this is a situation Queensland really love. Getting Peters down in the corner there. Merkus down to Peters. Doesn't quite get the angle he was looking for there, and Evans is good enough to keep that ball out of the goal. So it's now a Queensland corner.
It was a bit of a tough angle there. There didn't look like there was much on, so I think Josh has just played for the corner here. Tristram's got his spot again, front on. Like last time, look for him to make that run at the near post and try and split those defenders who are inside the box.
Merkus to Peters. Peters just overruns it a little bit there, and it's a WA sideline, but it's still a dangerous position for the West Australians.
Yeah, they've really got to get out of trouble here, or they're just going to be under the pump for the whole game. See what they do.
Evans tried to Bit more power on that pass to McCarthy, but Peters was good enough to get in the way. Almost directing their own goal. And Jack Gillespie spins the wrong way, but it still goes in off the defenders there. Fantastic goal by Queensland, and they're really piling the pressure on now.
Well done by Jack here. I don't think there was any other way he could have reached the ball but to do this. It was a bit behind him. He had no choice. He's done the big spin, and then unlucky for Dylan trying to get back on the goal line to defend. It's come off the front of his guard. There's really nothing you can do when there's that much pace on the ball.
Exactly, and that's why Jack Gillespie likes to take those big spins. He really wants to put some pace on it, make it tougher for the defenders, because you never know where it's going to go.
Yeah, absolutely. It's extremely hard, if not impossible, to trap a ball like that. So it's just going to hit your chair and go wherever it wants, and sometimes that's into your own net.
And there wasn't much Needham could do. Turning back towards his goal like that, he's got to try and get in there to save it, but facing your own goal can be very risky sometimes.
Yeah.
Merkus gets it out to Gillespie down wide, and Gillespie tries to put in another shot, but it's out for a Western Australia goal kick.
We'll see if they put a bit more on this one this time. These really, really shallow ones. Tristram just pouncing.
And Tristram Peters and Jack Gillespie talking a bit there to make sure they've got the correct people in the correct spot. Short little pass there from Needham to McCarthy, who leaves it, but Merkus is just too good at reading those balls and tries to put it back down for Gillespie, who can't quite keep it in. So it'll be another goal kick from WA. Needham to McCarthy, lets it go again. Merkus right up the middle of the floor. Evans and Needham trying to work it out here. Merkus right in the middle. He's going to be patient here, trying to look for his teammates.
Tristram waiting at the edge here just for Josh to flick it.
And moves out of the way. Doesn't want to give away that 2-on-1 with his teammate there. Merkus nicely plays that off Needham, and it's yet another Queensland throw.
He did well to put that out for a throw instead of a corner. This way they can set up the stacked defence and hopefully help them defend it a little bit easier.
It's a very tough angle to hit it from when the defenders are able to sit in front of each other like that, unlike a corner where you've got more space. Merkus with a big gap to put that through. Finds Gillespie on the far post, who puts it away. And that's 5-0 for Queensland.
Excellent finish there using the front of his guard. And it was just a simple ball across the top of the box for another Queensland goal.
This really has been a dominant performance by Queensland so far. McCarthy can't quite get to that ball. Merkus gets it through to Gillespie again. Western Australian defenders run into each other. Merkus to Gillespie, who takes another shot. Evans somehow keeps it out. Gillespie a bit too much contact there on the spin, and the referee tells him to calm down.
Great defence there by WA, scrambling for their lives, but managed to keep it out, and they've really got to try and get out of their own area here. It's been one-way traffic.
Jesse McCarthy can't quite get his guard on that ball again, despite instruction from the sideline. Peters back to Merkus, back to Peters, goes for the spin, puts it between the defenders and just can't quite get it on target. Fantastic play there from Queensland.
Dylan just avoid hitting it into his own net again, trying to track backwards, but he slams the brakes and let the ball run all the way across the face of goal.
Gillespie was a hair away from that one as well. Needham to McCarthy. Lets it run through again. Merkus there to clean it up. Peters with a big spin. McCarthy gets in the way there and gives away another corner for Queensland there. They just can't catch a break here, the Western Australians.
No, they really can't get out off any goal kicks or any sort of pressure sideline balls in their own area. Queensland's just pouncing, turning it into a set piece for themselves and then trying to convert.
And that was yet another fantastic finish there by the Queenslanders.
Jack Gillespie taking the set piece. Tristram's made the run to sort of freeze the defenders. Becker's worried about that near post run. The ball runs through Josh. Excellent finish right inside the post. unstoppable set pieces like that.
And Josh Merkers is so good at finishing those ones off as well. He's very accurate. Newman with a chance to attack Queensland here. He's got it out wide, but Merkers is closing him down. Merkers runs around him. Now he's got McCarthy for company. Taking his time there, Josh Merkers. Gillespie almost gets in the way there. Now he's got down to the corner, Jack Gillespie. Hits it back, doesn't quite get any power on it. So Merkers is forced to slow things down again. Goes for a big spin, Josh Merkers.
Unlucky.
And that was another fantastic shot by the Queenslanders, just creeping wide of that far post.
Excellent work by Josh there, playing the ball off the defender to set it up for his own spin kick. Just missing the post. Sort of one of those hits that are halfway between a pass and a shot. Unfortunately goes out for a goal kick.
That goal kick a little bit harder down the middle there. Josh Merkers bounces it off a Western Australian defender and wins the throw. Closing in on the last minute to go in the half here. I think you were about to say that too, Dimitri.
1 minute to go. I'm sure Queensland want to try and put one more away at least. So.
Gillespie with a nice touch to Peters. Goes for the spin and just doesn't connect with the ball there. Really nice play from Queensland. Just a little bit unlucky to miss that final pass across.
WA sending 3 players upfield. So Dylan alone here. Has to really make sure that it's a good hit.
And he takes it safely there to Evans. Doesn't want to give Peters a chance to jump. Now it's Evans on Merkers. Merkers trying to turn her around. Evans almost gets through, but Merkers is just too good. Finds the ball. Peters on Needham. And that's half time. Queensland really controlling things here against Western Australia, leading at half time by 6-0. We'll take a short break and be back with you very soon. Welcome back to the second half of this match between Queensland and Western Australia. We have some friendly banter here from Barry de Geest on the touchline here.
Yeah, trying to pull faces at us, make us cry.
Well, we just about beat you, so, you know, we just...
He's saying there they almost beat New South Wales earlier today. As Merkus takes the ball up against Evans. Barry's finally left us alone. Merkus taking it wide against Evans. Goes for a spin. Doesn't put anything on it because he just wants to control the ball there. And lets it run out for another Queensland throw. What did you make of that first half there, Dimitri, from Queensland?
I think they did really well keeping the pressure. I think you could count on your hand how many times the ball went in their own half, so they did a great job of keeping possession, but not only keeping it in a good attacking area. So I'm sure they'll be looking for more of the same as they score a goal off another set piece.
It's another great block there from Peters. Merkus with a perfect ball out to Castles.
Great long pass here. Josh with his new lean back seating really helps him get whip and power on those long balls. Bryce uses the front of the guard and this time gets the shot back across goal on target for an easy goal.
And Peters very nicely there backing around the side of Needham to keep him away from the ball. As Queensland don't give him time to breathe at all. Merkus to Castles, tries to put it across, but McCarthy blocks it off.
Good read by McCarthy there. He absolutely had to jump out at that. If he let that go through, Tristram was waiting.
So WA have made a slight change here with their formation, with McCarthy in the box with Needham now and Evans playing outside. Castles across the top of the box to Peters. Another save from McCarthy, but the ball stays in play. Now it's McCarthy on Merkus. Tries to get it out. Evans with a chance to go up the floor here. Taking on new goalkeeper for Queensland, Tom Dixon. Ball spills out to McCarthy. And Merkus is there to shut him down. And now Merkus' turn to go up the floor. Evans trying to close in on him. Merkus out wide. Peters in the middle. Manages to get the ball off the rebound. And Castles is there. And just pushes it inside the post.
Unlucky for Evans there.
Really unlucky for WA, right?
Yeah, she's turned around to try and defend. Josh has played this pass. She's actually deflected it into the path of Tristram. Defense isn't set and Tristram just gotten a shot. Oh, Bryce had to put it on target. So that's goal to Bryce, not Tristram.
That's a really nice finish there from Castles, just making sure of it. Now, hopefully we have a little bit of time here to breathe. So, a word from our sponsors. If you're looking for someone reliable to service and repair your power chair, Power Mobility's experienced technicians will come to you so you can stay mobile. Visit powermobility.com.au to find out more. They are, of course, our gold sponsors for this event. Merkus plays the ball to Castles there in the middle. Castles on Needham. Needham takes it wide. Castles looking for the little flick back to Merkus. Needham doesn't want to give it to him, but he ends up getting the ball in the end there, Merkus. Nice little clearance there from Newman. And Dixon puts the ball out safely for Queensland. Western Australia with an attacking opportunity here.
Yeah, they haven't had many, but they've definitely got to take advantage here. A nice set piece in the opposition half, so let's see what they set up.
Evans eventually finds her spot. She's a bit worried about Peters jumping there. McCarthy tries to get it across to Newman, but Peters just covers that top of the box section very nicely.
Yeah, it didn't quite look like he was going to get to that, but quick reactions, using the front of the guard and just getting a touch on it so that it gets away from his own goal.
He's a very smart player, Tristram Peters. Very good at reading the ball and knowing just where to be.
Absolutely, he's one of the toughest to play against when it comes to positioning-wise. Always knows where to be, as you can see there. Quickly moves out wide for Josh to give him that pass.
That's a nice little interplay there between the Queenslanders. A few big passes there. Evans managed to get in the way. And now Merkus has plenty of time at the top of the box here. Needham doesn't look to close him down. Castles with a really powerful shot there from out wide. And this is just an avalanche here from Queensland.
Yeah, absolutely. There's these long sweeping passes. Josh has all the time that he needs. Bryce sets himself up. Long diagonal. The ball's behind Dylan, and unfortunately, again, facing his own goal, nothing he could really do.
Needham just got turned around a bit too easily there, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he's moved up a little bit too far. Maybe if he stayed on the goal line and faced up the other way of the pitch, he could have blocked that out. But once he got turned around, whether he touched it or not, I think it was going to be a goal. So unfortunate, but another goal to Queensland.
Western Australia making a couple of changes before the kick-off. McCarthy and Newman to the bench, while Jason Lewis and Anthony Ambrosini take the court. Ambrosini not moving there.
Looks like something's wrong with his chair. The referee's told a stop to it.
And there we go, he's up and moving again. Maybe he might have turned his chair off by accident there. This will be a set ball because of that little stoppage in play.
Good spot by the referee.
Yeah, the referees have to be really on their game in this kind of sport, because with athletes with such severe disabilities, sometimes a little more care needs to be taken.
Yeah, absolutely there. But good play by Queensland. Again, setting up the pressure like they always like to do.
So Merkus, plenty of space there to pass it to Peters, who finds Castles on the wing. Back to Peters. Castles can't quite get that spin to connect with the ball, but more pretty football there from Queensland.
They're really spreading the court. It's great to see long sweeping passes. Like we said in the first half, sending people every which way, and it's very, very hard to defend when the ball's moving that quickly and spreading the floor that wide.
Josh Merkus gets a well-deserved break there for Queensland. Jack Gillespie is back on the field. Peters lining up a spin on the sideline there. Just doesn't quite connect. That ball would have really had some pace on it if he did. Castles now directing traffic. Lots of eye contact and a few words here and there. Hits it straight into Evans, unfortunately. Gillespie plays it back to Castles, who just can't control it. And it's a Western Australian throw-in.
Jason Lewis playing in his first tournament with his chin control here. It's really helped him with his mobility, and as you can see, nice clean hitting now for him.
Ambrosini just can't quite track that down in a more advanced position for Western Australia. We've also got Ben Keat with a chin control for New South Wales. That's certainly improved his game as well. So it's really nice to see that there are so many different ways to control your wheelchair, and it really allows these athletes to play at the top of their game.
It's a problem here. Looks like a pin or a anti-tip bar was not put down, so Jack might have gone flying.
He's got a strap hanging down by the edge of him. I have to wonder if that's his seatbelt that's not actually on, but the sideline referee has spotted that. You really want to be ready before the game with your seatbelt and your harnesses and all your straps in this sport. John Gillespie, Queensland coach, rushing out to help his son there, having a bit of a giggle with the referees.
I'm sure they just want a bit more added time, put a few more goals in.
And now we're ready to play again. So, Queensland ball down deep there. Castles plays it to Peters. Tries to nick it back to Castles, but just a little bit too much on that there. And WA have a chance for a repeat throw-in.
Jason Lewis taking the set piece again.
Lewis just hits it straight to Peters, unfortunately. Peters looking to take it down the sideline. Trying to work it off Lewis. Very patient here from Peters. Much like Merkus earlier on, just waiting for his opponent to commit one way and then taking the ball around them. Peters on Evans in the middle. Tries to flick it out to Castles, which he does. Peters back to Castles, who stops the ball. A little bit close there from the Queenslanders. Peters back out to Castles. And the two of them just couldn't quite finish off that play there.
Seems like they've lost their way a little bit now since Josh has gone off. But I'm sure that Tristram will get them back into line, and those long sweeping passes will be on point. a couple of little execution mistakes the last few times that they've had the ball.
Feels like the energy's gone out of this game a little bit. Queensland with a very comfortable lead. The Western Australian crowd trying to get that energy back with Ambrosini having a chance. And now Evans on Castles turns him around. Anthony Ambrosini getting out of the way nicely there. Dixon clears it up the middle to Lewis. And it's Lewis and Castles. Castles gets behind him. Evans is right there, very close to each other there, the Western Australians. Evans once again turning Castles around. Trying to get behind him. Castles almost lost sight of that. Gets pushed into the box with Dixon, who's very smartly up on the edge of his box there. Evans trying to fight with Dixon, backs into Peters. Very intelligent play there from Peters, trying to get in the way and draw the contact foul, which he does.
I thought the ref gave it the other way then, but correctly gives the ball to Queensland.
It did look like that for a second.
Yeah, Tristram very smart there. Saw Beck was reversing and that she wouldn't see what was behind herself. Quickly got in, parked in, and drew the foul for his team to relieve the pressure.
And he's able to get him that close when Dixon's in the box of Castles, because Dixon, being the goalkeeper, has that 2-on-1 immunity when he's inside his own goal box.
Yeah, he was just hanging right at the top, perfect spot. Make sure he doesn't leave it and close off all the space.
Evans with the ball back in the middle against Castles. And she's turned Castles around again. She's having a very good last couple of minutes here, Rebecca Evans. Gets it down the line. Castles is there trying to cover it off. And the ball is just sitting there on the sideline. Castles takes it. Evans gets the ball out towards Ambrosini, who can't quite get there. And Tom Dixon having a rare run out of his goal box there.
Great work there by Beck. She just moved down the sideline. Excellent flick on the inside. Unfortunately, didn't have any teammate there to support her, but that was a strong opportunity. And now, as you can see, Queensland make the sub, bring Josh back on. They've just dropped off a little bit, and I'm sure that this will put the game to bed and really shore up the defence.
And Western Australia have also brought Newman back on in place of Ambrosini. Gillespie with a big spin there against Needham, and goes for another spin and can't quite connect the second time. This will be a Western Australian goal kick. He does love a big spin, Jack Gillespie.
Yeah, risky there though. Without a shout, you don't know if the goalkeeper's charging up to try and beat you to that ball. So, got to be careful, but he had faith and no contact. Excellent spin kick. Unlucky he couldn't direct it around the goalkeeper.
When Jack doesn't hesitate with his decision making, he makes some very good plays, especially those big spins. And he gets another chance to unwind there. Hits it out off Evans and now has a chance to try and put it across. Peters doing what Evans did to him earlier on Jason Lewis there.
Yeah. Lucky the ball was out of play though, so no foul.
Lewis with a nice spot here, trying to keep Peters away from where he wants to be. But Peters, he's just so good with those short runs, and Gillespie puts it right on his guard and he splits the defence, does Tristan Peters.
Definitely for me as a defender in the box, that is the one hardest shot to stop. Because the two chairs can't move in unison as a wall. There's always gaps between. One jumps and the other one doesn't quite get right where you are, and Tristan's put it in a perfect spot just behind the front man.
The defence has sort of moved on a bit of an angle there with Needham sitting a little bit inside Evans. I wonder if that created a little bit more room for Peters to run and get in there.
Yeah, I think it did, and I just think they've really got to try and stick as close as possible together. Whenever there's a little gap like that, it's just going to get straight through.
You see both the Queensland and New South Wales teams in those positions having the defender on the post and the goalkeeper right in front, and they both move forwards to try and cut that gap off. And I just wonder if WA had used that same setup, that they might have closed that gap.
Evans has to be careful here not to go too close to the goal line to give away a 2-on-1 with that player that's down on the post.
And while we were talking about that goal, McCarthy has come back on in place of Lewis for Western Australia. Merkus plays it to Peters across the top of the box. Needham, really nicely done there to get that ball. And now he's trying to push up the floor against Gillespie and wins the free kick for contact.
he had the inside run there, so I think the foul for Queensland is the better option here. Dylan could have got a few more extra metres if there was a play on there.
Sometimes you have to give away those smart fouls.
Yeah, absolutely.
Peters out wide. Just overruns that ball a little bit there. A few chuckles from the Queensland bench. It's never a nice feeling when you wind up for a big spin and miss the ball, is it, Dimitri?
Nah, not at all, but you've got to do what you got to do. You got to take the risk because when it comes off, it really comes off.
Newman tries to take on Gillespie, who somehow keeps the ball in play. Gillespie down to the corner, gets a chance to try and hit it back to Merkus. Merkus only can hit it into Needham there, and Needham trying to clear the ball out. Has to rush back into the box, and Merkus unwinds on a big spin. Doesn't quite get all of it, but he still gets enough of it to put the ball in the goal. And it's Queensland moving out to an 11-goal lead.
As you can see, McCarthy tried to clear the ball, but all he's done is cleared it right into the path for Merkus to take that spin kick. He slowed down just a little bit to change the angle at the last second, and it beat McCarthy at that near post.
Queensland ringing the changes to try and get everyone a good run here. Gillespie back onto the bench with Castles taking his place. Merkus up the middle against Evans, who pushes him wide. Merkus gets a little touch out wide there to Peters. Castles back to Merkus, back to Castles. Brilliant pass across, but it's a little bit back towards his own goal there from Castles, and Peters can't quite track it down.
When those balls come across that fast and that hard, I think there's always sort of a little bit of a cutback effect on it. So that wide player really has to hover just not in line, but just behind in line. That way, if it ever comes across that quickly, they can just get to it. As you can see, Tristram went just a little bit too far and couldn't get on the end of it.
Castles takes on Evans down the sideline and wins the throw-in for Queensland. Bryce Castles is one of the best set-piece takers in the country here. But it's a little bit of a tough situation to be in this spot with Evans nicely parked at the top of the box. Peters plays the ball into Needham. Castles gets it back to him. Bryce Castles in the middle against Dylan Needham. Looking for the flick out. Gets behind Needham. Peters rotates out of the way. Merkus tries to get in, but Evans just takes up a really good spot to get in his way. But Josh Merkus back down the floor. Castles behind him, waiting for that pass. And Merkus instead goes for the shot. Almost gets between Needham and McCarthy there. Bryce Castles in the middle, pushing through Needham. McCarthy, the last line of defence. And Bryce Castles just too strong, pushing that ball over the goal line. And Queensland cruising to victory here.
Yeah, they've brought on their original starting lineup. This is the lineup that they played against New South Wales and probably will look to play against whoever they meet in the final, and they've really set the tone for the rest of the game.
McCarthy trying to take a long hit from the kickoff, bounces around a little bit, and now he's here with Merkus. Josh Merkus trying to drive around McCarthy. Pushes the ball down the floor. McCarthy gives up a few metres there to Merkus. Merkus being very patient. It's been a hallmark of his game today. Taking his time, tries to flick it out to Castles, but can't get enough power on it. And then has to track back, leaving Castles with the work to do there. McCarthy can't do anything other than put that ball out. So Queensland, in the last minute or so of the match, with another chance to add to their total. Castles down to Merkus in the corner. Plays it up top to Peters, who just can't quite get there again. Queensland really could have a few more goals in this match if they just hit their targets today.
Yeah, a couple of execution lapses, but it's tough to get 100%. And I mean, they've got a pretty high strike rate, so they can't be too disappointed.
You're not going to complain when you score 12 goals, are you?
Nah, absolutely not. So
Merkus out to Castles, unwinds on a spin, just hits it into Evans instead of through the gap to Peters.
Again, there with the big spin, you sort of snatch at it, so he didn't get it quite where he wanted and got it a bit behind the spot that he wanted to actually hit it into.
Merkus taking over here, goes to Peters, back to Merkus, who hits it off Evans. And now they have a better position here, Queensland. Peters looking to run that block across the top of the box. Merkers having a little look there. Peters moves out of the way. Castles puts it between Needham and McCarthy yet again. A really good finish there from Bryce Castles.
Yeah, Tristram swung open to beautifully open that door, as you could call it, for the ball to go right through.
It just gives Merkers more room to hit that ball through.
Yeah, and then also the defenders can't do much. Bryce back across goal, as I said, they're flooding to that far post, and there's nothing they can do once their chairs are going in one direction.
And you simply have to do that. You have to cover that far post. You can't give away those shots there. And the referee has blown full time. And it's Queensland running out winners by 13 goals to 0 against Western Australia. Thank you very much for your comments here today, Dimitri. And I'm sure you'll hear from us again very soon.
Stay tuned for the next game.